What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. I hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. So, I'm 32 years old. I'm the parent of two children. I have a 14-year-old daughter and I have a 5-year-old son. And when I observe parenting within my age bracket and my generation, I see a lot of people doing well with their children, raising their children well, loving on their kids appropriately, teaching them to remain children and not trying to get them to be adults fast and live like the wild adults that their parents are, etc. Right? Or the other people are. But then I see people who are raising their children, and it's just I shake my head at it. As a parent, you want your child to be upright. You want your child to be an upstanding person, not a wild ass kid running around being a menace, being just a little ignorant asshole. You don't want your kids to be like, and I hate, you shouldn't call kids assholes, but there are some children who are assholes, right? Let's be for real. We're gonna tell the truth on this channel. I saw the other day somebody on my Facebook friends list taking a picture of their child. The child got to be like 9 or 10. Your child throwing up the middle finger in pictures, and you taking a picture of them and posting it up on your Facebook page like it's cute or something. There's no fucking way anything that comes from me is going to be on. I don't give a fuck. You're 15, 16. I'm not taking a picture and allowing you to put your middle finger up in pictures and I'm posting it on Facebook. I'm not allowing my child to be throwing up their middle finger, especially 10, 11 years old. What are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? But I see parents doing that. And I'm like, what? Y'all want these kids to be little wild ass hooligans that you hang with or, that you think is cool. I've spoken about this on my channel before. I know people who allow their kids to throw up GD, to drop GD. Dropping GD is, it's a sign of disrespect to the gangster disciples. I know people who allow their kids to throw up all type of gang signs. And they think that shit is cute until the kid keeps doing it over and over again. And they get to a certain age where they start getting checked outside and checked in the wrong ways. When you could have curbed it from the beginning. If you wouldn't have had them doing it, they would have never said it was cool. Because a lot of kids say, if my parents allow me to do this, I'm going to do it. Right? And I know some people might say this sound old school, but I'm an old school type parent when it comes to that. Those type of things. Right? I was raised by a James Evans type black man. And my mama didn't play. Well, my grandma called my mama the warden. I knew my parents loved me. They told me they loved me. They hugged me. All of that. They told me they was proud of me. They fed me with positive affirmations all the time. But I also knew I couldn't play with them. And I also didn't think that me and them were somewhere in the same age bracket or I could do the same things that they do. I never thought that. And I will never allow my children to think that they can do the same things that I do. There's no way. Adults are adults and children are children. And that's how I look at it. When I see kids, it's another thing, cursing. And I see parents trying to justify it, talking about, I'd rather them do it in here than do it outside. Well, that's stupid. Do you think if they do it in the house in front of their parent, you think they're not going to do it outside or in school? If their parent is giving them the okay, they're going to do it wherever they please. It's not going to stop them from doing it in school and outside. That shit doesn't fucking work. Excuse my language while I'm cursing, while I'm saying the kids shouldn't be cursing. It doesn't work that way at all. So I don't, you allow your kids to curse and all that. I don't want your kids hanging. And I know kids gonna curse. Kids are gonna curse on their own time or whatever, and I understand. But if you a parent and allowing your kid to do that, you might allow your kids to do some other stuff that I don't think is cool for my kids to be doing for real. And it's one thing if kids do stuff on their own time, but the parent allowing it leaves room for a lot of other BS to start occurring because they feel like I have the parental okay to do certain things, right? Even people who smoke weed, I know parents who know their kids smoke weed and be letting their kids smoke weed all in the house. They 15 and 16. Absolutely not. One, I ain't never smoked weed a day in my life, so I'm just never gonna be understanding of my kids smoking weed. It's just me, right? Some people smoke, a lot of people smoke weed, and they gonna, I'm just not gonna be understanding of that. You feel me? I'm not gonna be you smoking weed and you're not drinking none of that in my crib. You a young kid, teenager. You not grown. No, we not doing that. We not doing that, brother. We just not. Some people say I'd rather my kids do it in here or than be outside. They're gonna do it outside, bro. And I know parents that smoke weed that smoke with their kids and say, I'd rather him do it with me, so he getting the right stuff. Yeah, your kid is not of age though. You making your kid a weed head at 16, 17? You okay in that, bro? I can't. I can't. And some people are gonna say, "What's wrong with weed?" And listen, my father smoked weed majority of his life, right? So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but a kid getting the okay to be a weed head from their parent. I've seen people who smoke, and it's not the same for everybody. Some people who smoke, they allow that to be their entire life. And when you're young, you can really fall down that slope easily. Kids are impressionable. And if they friend is falling down that slope where weed is taking over their life, it can take over some people's lives. I know some people who can't do anything without smoking. They gotta smoke before they get dressed. They gotta smoke when they wake up. They gotta smoke before they eat. They gotta smoke after they eat. They gotta smoke to go to sleep. Right? And I would not want my child to be like in a lifestyle where you feel like everything he gotta do, he gotta smoke, or everything she or he gotta do, they gotta smoke before they do it. Like, no, I'm not. No. Be a functional person without being a drug, dependent on dependent on drugs or a drug. And first of all, you're not smoking no weed. I'm not okay in that. Not in my house. My kid, no, you're not cursing up in here, not putting your middle finger up in pictures. We're not doing none of that. But a lot of people allow their children to do these things, and I just could never. And look, y'all, people gonna say let people raise their kids the way they want to. Cool, cool. That doesn't sit right with me, and I never would think that's cool or think that's okay to be doing. I just won't believe that's fine for people to be allowing their kids to do. You know, and some might say, my parenting style is bad and all of that. Listen, I know how I had freedom as a kid. So I didn't, when I say I had freedom, I wasn't able to be outside all types of night and all of that hell. Nor was I allowed to spend a night at people's house because you don't know what the hell be going on in people's houses, right? But my mom let me watch BET, my dad let me watch BET, MTV, VH1, all of that. I was allowed to play certain video games and all of that. And they explained to me what's real life, what's fictional. If you do this, you'll go to jail. All that I knew right from wrong is what I'm saying. It was right and wrong was instilled in me, and I had my freedoms to watch certain things, and like I didn't have blocks on my channels from VH1 and MTV and all of that. So I wasn't a kid that was curious about the world all the time because I was so sheltered and I wasn't allowed to listen to certain music. My parents allowed me enough freedom to where I wasn't curious about the world, but also to say, hey, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. Right? I wasn't curious about the world, but I knew it was limitations to everything and certain things that I could not do, and it was never going to be okay. My parents let me know that I was their parent. I was not their friend. I could come to them and talk to them about anything. I could have conversations with them. I felt comfortable talking to both of my parents about all different type of matters, relationship matters, things going on in school, things going on with my friends, my feelings about certain things, so on and all of that, my doubts, um, things that were troubling my mind, all of that. I could talk to them about all different type of things, but I knew that they were not my friend; they were my parents, and my children know I'm their father. I'm not their friend, even though I will allow the space for them to know they can come to talk to me. My 14-year-old daughter, she just started high school. She knows she can talk to me about anything. She can come to me. We can have conversations. I don't want her being scared to talk to me about anything. There's a healthy fear of me and her that knows if she does this, and this, her daddy is gonna have a problem. It's gonna be a problem. Her mother is gonna go off the meter. Her father, me, I'm gonna go off the meter. She knows that. But at the same time, I allow the space for her to know that while I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. We can still talk. We can laugh. We can joke. You can come talk to me about anything, and I will give you answers to certain things you may want question. You might want answers to. I will give you answers to certain things you might want answers to. But there are certain things that will never take place in my household. And I think that the line got to be drawn in the sand with a lot of this. And because it's not, you see incidents like the kids jumping on that woman and her children in my hometown, Chicago, Illinois, here in Chicago. You see stuff like that because there are sometimes no boundaries. And maybe some of these kids, parents are raising their kids to be a certain way, but there's no boundary set. And some of these kids don't have a healthy fear of their parent to know that if I do this, if I do that, my mama, my daddy, they're gonna get me. And it's not gonna be pretty. You know? So we gotta get to a point where, we can love on our children. We can allow them the space to talk and have conversations with us and they can give input or tell us how they're feeling about certain things and all of that. And we can have healthy conversations about all different type of things in their life. But there are certain things that will never be okay, that will never be cool, that will never be acceptable. And that is final. That's just how I feel. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber from Chicago, Illinois. Southside to be specific. That just talks in front of a camera all day long. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out, y'all. Peace.